Okay, hopefully my mic doesn't shit the bed this time. Oh my god. It's gonna be a lot of crashing today. What I wanted to do is try to fly like Maddie stunts at 10 degrees. And already I'm finding that my fingers want to go a certain direction, and it's not the direction that I want to go. So it's going to take a little bit of time to get that muscle memory back. What up, Gorilla FPV? You literally just made me crash because I was reading your comment, but what up? So one thing I used to do a lot is invert into gaps, so let's work on those for a little bit. I already noticed that I'm drifting way more because when you roll like this, even though you come off throttle, your thrust is now pointing you in that direction. So I'm gonna have to line my tricks up a little differently than I used to. So let's try a smaller gap here and start inverting into that. That actually threw me pretty straight. Yeah, it actually throws me pretty straight. So if I invert this way, I'm gonna need to cheat this side technically, but let's see what happens here. Ooh, I noticed that I'm not dropping as fast either. So that means I can kind of do a lower to the ground and start further out as well. Interesting. Oh, I miss it. I was thinking about doing a fourth dimension trick recap of like just watching the fourth dimension and then trying to duplicate the tricks I did in it with 10 degrees. So we're gonna try to do that at some point. Cool. So the natural progression for this trick is to do invert, and then when you get those unlocked, you do invert, front flip. And they look pretty cool. So let's try with this object here. I also, like, most of these tricks I haven't even done for like a year and a half, so you'll have to pardon my relearning and timing and all that stuff. Because a lot of these tricks, there's a lot going on. there's a lot going on. I just need to do like flat landing of this trick, you know? Just get the muscle memory back. Ooh, I like it. And then the natural progression is to do 2 front flips. And we got to make sure that we're landing these tricks on axis. Not landing it like that and then coming back. But that's just practice and timing and knowing your rates and stuff like that. So, here, let's see. Let's invert into this gap. Is the video choppy for you guys? It looks like it's choppy. Someone let me know. That was it, but it was very ugly. If you guys are just joining, trying to learn my old tricks at 10 degrees, and one of my tricks, if you ever fly with high tilt up, inverting into gaps is it's way easier with up tilt. Nope. Okay. Let's stop messing around here. I know what I'm doing. I'm not front flipping on axis. It's crazy because like there's a lot going on when you do a invert into a gap. Okay, not just an invert into like open air. You're aiming this bitch into something that's gonna potentially explode your quad, and it's just so crazy when I start flying and I get to that point where I'm really sharp and I have my timing just all laid out, and this trick is just like getting easier and easier and easier, and it's getting to a point where I can land it whenever I want at will. Oh. So what else was there? Obviously the old inverted power loop, aka M stunts flip. Now I know that Velocidrone's a little bit is a little bit heavy on the, or light I should say, on the gravity, so I do like this isn't how much I float to the ground in real life, so I'm wondering if the trick's gonna be different timing in real life. I probably won't have so much floating time. What else did I used to do? Sorry guys, the graphics card's a 2080 Ti. This is a brand new build, man. This thing's a monster. It might be my internet connection. So shit. These are all things I'm learning right now. Let me see if I can like let's go into settings and do output settings. Let's turn my gigabyte down. And let's see if that makes a difference. Yeah, this computer is a fucking beast, but sometimes it's the internet. But if you go back to watch this later on, I'm sure it'll get to the point where YouTube uploads it with no choppiness, hopefully. Okay, there was another trick I used to do like that. So I used to do I love this trick. I also love doing like a backflip invert straight. So instead of us rolling into an invert, you're doing a front flip and then yawing 180, and then now you're inverted, right? The only thing with this trick is at 60 degrees your forward momentum is obviously very good. But at 10 degrees I'm going to need to use a little flicking action to, and I hate that. I really hate that, like, flicking thing people do at 10 degrees, you know? I'm sure you've seen it, but that's what I hate about 10 degrees. But let's see if I can just float it in there. Yeah, there you go. So I mean, I love the speed of 10 degrees, but if I can do everything at this camera tilt and not and also do the tricks I could never do, like all this yawing stuff, and keep it smooth, you know, like I love that. I mean, yeah. Fuck, my internet must be. Let's turn this gigabyte down again. I'm not gonna do the craziest long session tonight, but I'm gonna take this time to read some comments if I can. Oh yeah, video is choppy. Oh yeah, get a new GPU. Nope. No, do not need to change my PC. It literally just built like a $7,000 build. Yeah, I might change my quad weight, but the only thing about that, now my punch isn't gonna feel right, and I feel like it feels right now. That's what I noticed about these sims is you throw off one physics. Ooh, I like that. I know those are birds. You throw off one thing of your physics, and it's like now you don't punch out as much, and they haven't made the quad as powerful, so you can't change that. But I don't know. What can we do with this? That looks pretty cool. So let's see. We're gonna deviate from the plan for a quick second and just see and play with this. No. Let's see if we go the other way. No, I just want this trick to make it look like it flows a little bit better. Ooh, there you go. Shibuya. This is always what happens when I'm playing the quad. It's I'll be messing around, and then all of a sudden I just see something that looks good, and then I'm like, oh, what was that? And just try to experiment with it. I'm gonna have to go through the live stream again and just see what I did there, how I came out of it. Okay, what were we doing? We were doing front flip inverted and back flip inverted 180 yaws to bring us around to invert, and the natural progression on that one is front flip yaw, front flip again, and then go through it, and then so on and so forth. You can add so many different tricks to these things, as many as your brain's gonna let you to do. Definitely a trick I gotta get better at. But I mean, when you do it invert like that, you're pretty much like, when I first started learning, I'm not gonna call them the Matty flip, because I just I know I've called them that in the past, but it just feels a little cheesy. But so the way that I would do this trick is, or teach it, is you go through the object and then you kick yourself back, and then you go through the object again and you kick yourself back, and you get to know how to force the quad back into that hole. So now when you go through the object, you know what to look for, right? So when you're doing this force your way back thing, when you're doing an invert, it's pretty much what you're doing, but you're not forcing yourself back. You're just inverting and letting your momentum come through. So the more I invert, because this is literally the first session where I've been like, let's fly like how I used to fly, and see what happens. It looks like we're in a good spot. I mean, I might explode a little bit more, but Night Train, if you can kind of get a sense of what my rates are doing, they're not the fastest. I mean, why can't I yaw this on axis? There we go. Actually, they are pretty fast, but they're not this fast in real life. I slow them down a little bit. So now we can do, this is where it gets interesting, because it's like, now we can do slow cinematic type flying, very smooth, very precise and deliberate, and then you can go into like a little bit of a smoother freestyle, like a Drew, you know, and like a schizo. And then, you know, when you're free and frisky, you can throw in a fucking hammer and continue on your day, right? Let's do this new trick thing I was doing. Fuck, I'm sorry that it still looks like it's choppy for you guys. I'm sorry, guys. This is like, I'm new at this shit, so yesterday my audio shit the bed, and that's just, you know, PC drivers shitting the bed, and it just stopped like mid-recording. And then today it's my internet. I've literally phoned these internet cunts like so many times to get my internet to where it's supposed to be, and they got me. Well, I should say they got my wife. My wife set up the internet, but they say that we're supposed to have like 700 megabytes per second for the house, and like whenever I test it, it's at like 150 or 200, and then they say, oh, go to the site for that we test with, and then all of a sudden it says 700. I'm like, listen, you guys are scamming me right now. Just stop scamming me and giving me my 700 megabytes. It would have been an explode in real life. Okay, so this is another thing. Okay, I'm gonna tell you guys right now. This is what I use. This is what everyone calls a power loop. Okay? We've seen these many times. Like, too many times. This is what I call a proxy flip. It's when you do a power loop, but you keep the object you're power looping in frame the whole time. So with 60 degrees, it is so goddamn easy, because when you go through that object, you're pretty much looking up the whole time. I've noticed with 10 degrees, you can do it, but you need a little bit of momentum moving through. Like if we just do this at a standstill, it's not going to work, I don't think. See, you kind of get lost at the top, but if you use a little bit of momentum, you can do it. So you can do these. You can throw in an inverted yaw spin at the top. You can throw in an alley-oop. Oh yeah. You can throw in an alley-oop. One second. My mouth won't let me do the trick. Here, let's just do it and do an alley-oop. Hold on. That's what I wanted. Alley-oop. What are we doing here? We're doing alley-oop, yaw, or roll, yaw 180, and then roll back. You know, flying's gotten way more fun for me, because it's like, I always preach about you can't be a one-trick pony, and I feel like I flew that high tilt for so long, I kind of missed the message, even though I was trying to do all the tricks that I was, you know, doing a Rubik's Cube or learning those and learning other stuff that most non-high up tilt pilots use, but completely changing the setup and really trying to do, you know, both worlds. Like I was telling I was telling Van over this. I was like, buddy, you're like my favorite pilot, but maybe try to throw in some of those 60-degree type tricks. I think that's where FPV freestyle has to go to. I think it needs to go to learning every single discipline. I think that's the only way you can really validate yourself as one of the best freestyle pilots in the world. It doesn't matter where you're flying or what the scenery you're recording or how many subscribers you have, but like the definition for me is being able to do every trick in the vocabulary at will, consistently, and knowing how to flow with it. And I definitely think 10 degrees is like, I never thought I would say this, but like even having the 6S batteries like is just too much to handle at 10 degrees. For 60 degrees is perfect, because you need so much more power to lift yourself up, because instead of now your quad's force is going straight down, it's going like backwards. So I would even say going back to 4S, maybe 5. The only thing I don't like is to fly freestyle at this degree and having your like camera tilt at 0, like your HD feed, is you need like a dead cat setup to kind of get that to work. And I think they look goofy. I don't really like it. I bought one of these DC5s or something like that, and the thing just doesn't tune right, and even though I don't know anything about tuning, but okay, what are we at? We're at 27 minutes. Okay, we're gonna cut this off. I think that I'm pretty stoked. I'm going to bed tonight thinking that I've learned something new, even though this is what I used to do. But it's like, now imagine me flying like this. Like I'm always taking breaks and stuff, but imagine me flying like this for the next 3 months with all the new stuff that I like to do, like this stuff. And I still have my old tricks. I mean, imagine if I could have gone through that. I think for me, that's the ultimate goal, is how I would want to do it. So, okay, we're gonna try one thing here. I love that type of shit. Just that. And yawing, keeping your momentum forward going. I love it. It's like the one big reason why I wanted to start freestyling. It's just literally for this one move here. I love that. I love it. Okay. I'm stoked. I'm stoked to fly tomorrow night. So let's hook up then. Everyone stay safe. And around the same time tomorrow night. Bodhi got to bed a little bit earlier today, so I was able to get on at 9, but 9 or 10 is when I'd get on. So if you guys ever